So now I'm joined by webcam by Cheng Chen, an Associate Professor of Political Science at the University of Albany in the United States. She's an expert on Chinese politics. Thank you for joining us on BBC News. Have you been listening in to President Xi? And if so, what do you make of the first few minutes there?
Yes, I've been listening since the very beginning. So far, I don't think there are any surprises. We've been hearing a lot of familiar phrases, the catchphrases under Xi, including, the Chinese dream, national rejuvenation, the four comprehensives, One Belt, One Road. So far, I think he's trying to make a case that he's achieved a lot in the past 5 years. And as you just said, there's this whole laundry list of things that he has done. And so far, I think, it's just pretty much a reiteration of what we've heard in the past 5 years. Lots of catchphrases. Really nothing very surprising at this point.
No, there hasn't been, has there? It's interesting you picked up on Chinese dream. I counted at least two of them. Can you explain for our viewers around the world, what does he mean when he is referring to the Chinese dream?
Well, by saying Chinese dream, he's really talking about continuing to improve people's living standards and basically, modernizing Chinese economy. So ultimately, he's painting this really beautiful picture of a wealthy, prosperous society where people can just enjoy life, and this is obviously an aspiration many Chinese people also share.
Oh, you might not have caught my question there. Do you think it's a fair assessment, this rosy picture as you describe it?
Well, you might have noticed that in this rosy picture, there's really not much room for political liberalization or democratization. It's very much economically oriented. So obviously, if you're looking at the materialistic side of things, it is a fairly rosy picture. But if you want to think about, further liberalization, democratization, then there's really not much there.
One sentence that stuck out for me was democracy has been advanced. Do you think that is going to raise some eyebrows among human rights groups and dissenters in China and around the world?
I think it's likely to raise eyebrows, obviously, because the Xi presidency is known for its political conservatism. And if anything, I think he also emphasized, the progress he's made in terms of ideological indoctrination. And in that sense, you really can say that the regime is moving toward any kind of democratization. But obviously, the reason they are saying that is because they claim that they have a different understanding of what democracy is all about.
Will there be any room in the coming week for self-critical analysis of how the party has performed over the last 5 years? Will they really dig deep and ask how policies have worked? Or is it just a rosy celebration, to pick a description?
Well, that's actually a very interesting question. My guess is that most likely they'll only be highlighting the achievements, because after all, Xi has another 5 years to go, and this Congress is highly important for him, because it's obviously, his consolidation of power. It's going to be highlighting his achievements and what he's going to achieve in the next 5 years. So I will be surprised if, there will be a lot of discussion that's about self-criticism, self-reflection. So I think really mostly it's going to be, highlighting the achievements.
You mentioned their consolidation of power. We, of course, expect President Xi to be reappointed for another 5 years.
Yes.
Do you expect anything else, though, beyond that? Because there have been some suggestions that perhaps he will start planting the seeds for staying in power for a longer period. What do you think?
Well, I think there's a possibility that he would like to continue to assert control even after someone else assumes the presidency. But at this point, I think it will really be a surprise if he would blatantly go against the party tradition and, just extend his 2 terms. I think that would really be a surprise.
OK, do stay with us, Cheng Chen, Associate Professor there of Political Science at the University of Albany, because I just want to speak to our correspondent in Beijing, Robin Brandt, who is